Oh, righty. Do you need the light on? All right. So, direct variation. Okay. Direct variation is a special type of linear function. Okay, so now we're back to lines. Okay, so if you graph direct variation, it would be a line. Okay, so your equation for direct variation is y equals k times x. Okay. K is called your constant of variation. Look in there. Okay. This is also your slope. Okay. Now they just call it a constant of variation. Okay. This has to be a non-zero number. My slope cannot be 0. Okay, so direct variation is just y equals k times x. What's missing that you usually have with a linear function?
A y-intercept.
Your intercept. Okay. There's no +7 or -2. Okay, so direct variation, your y-intercept is always 0. Okay, so if you have an equation that's 2x plus 3, that's automatically not direct variation. Okay, because my y-intercept is not at 0. Okay. So, some things we should be able to do. I don't know why this is all crooked. There we go. Okay, so in order to determine whether an equation is direct variation or not, we must have it set equal to y first. So we've got 2x plus 3y equals 0. I need to arrange this so it's y equals. What do I do first? Move 2x by doing what? Subtracting. So we get 3y equals negative 2x. Okay. Divide by 3. So y equals negative 2/3 x. Okay, so in order to tell whether this is direct variation or not, is there a number that's being multiplied to x? Yes, it doesn't matter that it's a fraction. It doesn't matter that it's negative. There just has to be some number multiplied against x. So we're good. What is my y-intercept? 0. So this is direct variation.
Can't you make any thing direct variation unless it doesn't have unless it has a y?
Is that what's going to come out? Fraction.
No, it could be 2x. It could be 1x. Y equals x is direct variation. As long as you don't have anything added or subtracted to it, it's direct variation.
So as long as there's x in it.
Okay. All right. Other side. Again, I need this equal to y first. So I start with subtracting 3. So 2y equals 4x minus 3. Divide by 2. So y equals 2x minus 3/2. I already heard Jackie say it's not
It's not what?
direct variation.
That's more intercept. Right?
It has a y-intercept. That's not 0. Okay, so your equation starts at -2/3 and then it goes up 2 into the right 1, up 2 into the right 1. I need to start at 0 in order for this to be direct variation. This does not because of this. This makes this a no. Okay. Because we've got a different starting spot than 0, this is a no. Okay. How do I look at a table and tell myself it's direct variation or not? Okay. In order to do that, I need to find my slope between the points. Okay. So I'm trying to find my K value. So we're finding K. That's what we're doing. When we take y divided by x, we're finding K.
Is it always gonna be K?
Yes, they call it K.
What does K stand for?
K stands for your constant of variation.
Why don't they call it a C? No.
I don't know, because somebody smarter than me said, let's use it.
No, somebody who trying to be difficult. So let's use that.
Maybe he was a blood.
All right, so we need to take each y value and divide by the x value. So 10.5 divided by 3. 3.5. We need to check every value to make sure that it's going to work. So 17.5 divided by 5. Kathy said it's 3.5 again. And as long as this last one works, we're good. 28 divided by 8 is 3.5.
Did you already notice on top of your head?
I've done this for, again, multiple years. So yes, this is direct variation because all of these values are the same. Okay, write a direct variation equation. So, when we're doing this, we have to write an equation. The first thing we need to do is find our K value. Well, K is always y divided by x. Okay. Y divided by x. So my y value is 4. My x value is 8. So what's K?
2.
Half. 1/2 or 0.5. I don't care how you spell it out. 1/2 or 0.5. And now we substitute in our value for K to actually get our equation. So y equals 1/2 x.
Oh,
That's it. So now I should be able to tell you x is 2. What's y? If x is 2, what is y? 1. 2 times 1/2 is 1. I should be able to tell you y is 16. What is x? Y is 16. What is x? 32. You would plug in 16 here and multiply by 2 to get x by itself. Okay. Questions? Okay. Couple more examples then. This glues in on page, we're on what, 124 now?
Yeah. What's today? Monday?
Uh-huh.
Definitely not coming tomorrow. I'm just kidding. I love you.
What do you mean definitely not coming
I
tomorrow?
was just kidding. I have to.
124?
Yes. I really need to glue down some of these pages.
Can I go in?
I have not glued a lot here.
It's kind of cold.
I'm pretty sure I got mine.
Am I the only one that's
I
cold?
never put that in. Right. Bruh, for real, like. Miss Smith.
Yes.
She screwed up.
What'd you do?
I still have a yellow paper that I didn't glue it
Who let me not glue the stuff in? Tay, you're fired.
What? If Tay's fired, I'm hired. No. Why is Tay
Because
fired?
you didn't make me glue my stuff in.
No, no. You ain't going for it.
Oh, I'm gonna pull some high school stuff. It's everybody's fault but mine. So it's Tay's fault.
That's me, for real.
Y'all do that.
I know, I really do. My mom's do. I blame stuff on my dog sometimes.
All right.
Isn't it like breast?
Yeah, Braxton.
That should be a life right there.
All right. So some of this is going to be reiteration of what we just did. Do we need to go through an English lesson on what reiteration is?
Yes.
Yes.
The position of letters. Oh, you thought we were playing word series. Alliteration. Oh, read it. Yeah, I know what that is. That means we're going on alliteration. We have Miss Harris. Come on.
Say that one more time.
You're going over it.
We're doing it again. So we already did an example like this. We're going to do some more. Okay? So from a table, direct variation between two quantities in a relationship in which the ratio of one quantity to the other is constant, which means what? The same.
That's what that means?
Oh my goodness.
How do you spell insist?
Why?
What?
Why? Do you know what that
Let's
is?
hold on. Let's finish the math lesson.
Yeah, you know the thing is the word.
It is. Okay.
Listen, what about people say you're constantly doing this?
Keep on doing it.
You're dumb.
You're doing the same thing over and over and over again.
Oh my God. Okay. What's that? All right.
Math / English lesson of the day. Right there. Okay. So I need to see if my ratio, what does ratio mean?
A number to a number. That's all I know, to be honest.
A ratio is a fraction. A ratio is a fraction. So to get your constant, we always take y divided by x.
Well, y divided by x always gives you a fraction.
Even if it gives you a whole number, it's still a fraction over 1. So like 2 is technically a fraction. It's 2 over 1. You just don't write it there. Yeah. All right. So what is my constant if I divide y by x? 6 divided by 1. 12 divided by 2. 18 divided by 3. 24 divided by 4. 36 divided by 6. Is this direct variation? Well, bam. Okay. The next couple are not that easy. You're actually going to have to use a calculator. Because, you know, unless you can divide fantastically.
I think you can.
Okay. So, you said negative 3.5. What's the next one? Negative 3.5. Negative 3.5. Negative 3.5. Negative 3.5. So this is a
It's a direct variation.
yes. It is direct. Okay.
Oh.
Take a minute or two and find your constants for C and D before we go over them. Okay. Take a minute or two on your own, find your constants for C and D, and determine whether it's direct or not.
If you see that one is different, then the whole thing is wrong.
Yeah, so if you get to the second set of points and your K value is different, it's automatically a no. You don't have to continue. As soon as that first K value is different, you can stop. Okay? But you can't stop until you get to that different one. So I know it was repetitive to sit there and go negative 3.5, negative 3.5, negative 3.5. But what if my last one just did not work?
Knowing us, they probably do that.
They're going to wait till the end because you're going to get so frustrated by number 3 that you're like, oh, well, these are all the same, so it must be good. And move on. Don't let them trick you.
Bet you it's gonna be less.
We have one more concept to cover in this unit. We've got to cover inverse variation tomorrow.
Are we supposed to cut it down?
It's all kind of like math one. Yes. This is something that you remember.
Let me change box. I'm at the end of the road.
Okay.
Towards the end. I gotta learn all the words to this. I gotta put the snap.
You finna make me mad, cuz. What you listening to?
What? Huh?
What?
She don't even know what I'm talking about. Give me these ones.
Okay. Are we ready?
Yep.
What is C?
No.
No. Okay. So you should have started off with 0.75, and then this one was 3.
Oh, I get that now.
I got that.
I got 1.3 and
Because you did 8 divided by 6 instead of Y divided by X.
You said 6.
6 divided by 8. Okay.
Sorry.
When you're checking the table, so your K value would be that one.
Okay, because I did that with D2.
And you got them all the same. Okay. If you take a look at D, was that yes or no?
Yes.
What was my constant? 0.0625.
And all the rest
Oh,
of
I see how it would work the same way.
It's just opposite of what you have. Okay. Questions? Okay. Pretty easy from a table, right? Okay.
So you checked it up on us.
With an equation. Dun dun dun.
Dun, 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 dun.
Dun 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 dun. Okay, a direct variation can be written as an equation in the form y equals k times x, where k represents the constants of variation. Okay, again, direct variation is a linear equation that has a slope that is not 0 and has a y-intercept at 0, which means there's nothing added or subtracted. So, take a look at A. Yes or no? Yes. K equals 6. B. No. What causes this to be no? This -1 here causes this to be no. What about C?
Yeah.
Yes. And you said what? 1/2.
K equals 1/2.
Yes. K is 1/2.
So if it's like this, you just always take away the X on the end and just put K.
So it's, but is D 2?
D is going to be 2. Why, Allie?
Because you have to get Y by itself.
It has to be Y by itself first. So Allie realized that there's a 3 times your Y. So she divided both sides by 3. So Y is 2X. So this is a yes, and my K value is 2.
K is still 2 divided by, Y divided by X, right?
Yes.
Do the same thing for E.
I just X
Divide by 5.
Right. Oh.
Yes, Alfredo, you were absolutely correct. Okay, so E. E is 5Y equals X. Again, though, before I can do anything, it has to be Y equals. Take the earbuds out, because I don't know what the heck you two are doing. Earbuds out. Or they're going to be mine.
Everybody.
No, they're rocking out and not paying attention. And it's annoying me.
Oh, so can I do mine?
So, with this one, Y has to be by itself. So Alfredo said we need to divide by 5. 1/5. Good. Remember, if there's no number written there, there is an unwritten 1. So this one is yes, and K is 1/5. Okay. F's going to be a little bit more work. Because not only do I have to divide, I've got to move that X to the other side first. So you said my K value is 3?
Yeah.
Okay. So the first thing I have to do is add 15X to both sides. So you get 5Y equals 15X. Divide both sides by 5 now. So Y equals 3X. Okay, so that's where that 3 came from. Finally, G. This one's going to come out to be a no. Because again, the first thing I got to do is subtract 6 from both sides. So we get 3Y equals 9X minus 6. Well, when I divide everything by 3, I end up with Y equals 3X minus 2. So this is a no.
So if we had like, if it was 6Y equals 9X minus 6, we would have to work it all out to cancel each other out. And then that would be a yes.
No, because you would still, so you're saying change that number in front of Y to a 6?
Yeah, because I'm saying like, so like, because you worked that out even though we knew it's a no, we have to work it out all the time.
Honestly, I would not have worked that one out. Just because it's plus 6.
Who making you smile like that?
Because even if this was like this, when I go to divide by 6, I still get minus 1. So it's still not a Y-intercept of 0.
Wait, what if there's like a.
Yeah, they're not going to put a plus 0. As soon as you see a plus a number or a minus a number, unless there's, so the only way that this would work and still come out to be direct variation is if you had something like 3Y plus 6 equals 9X plus 6. So when you subtract the 6 from both sides, it cancels.
That's what I was thinking, but I thought they wouldn't do that.
I don't see them doing that, but this would be the only way that it would come out to be direct variations. Because when you go to get rid of your constant on this side, it cancels out on both. Okay. So that's excellent questions. I love this class. I love the fact that you all were like, stop. Answer me this.
What's your favorite class?
You guys are actually, as good as last semester did, I have higher hopes for this class because you guys have brought it more in depth than what last class did.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, on the EOC after,
whatever
we're taking, is it gonna be yes or no question, or are we gonna actually have to answer like that?
You'll probably have to find the K value. Okay, the last one with a graph.
Okay, y'all, shut up.
Okay. The last thing I should be able to give you is a graph, and you should be able to tell me direct variation, not direct variation. Here's my K value. Okay. So the graph of a direct variation is always a straight line
I just bit my lip.
that goes through the origin. Okay. Why is it going to go through the origin?
Or you
Because y-intercept is 0. So if my graph does not go through the origin, it's automatically not direct variation. Okay, so let's graph some of these. So if I have y equals 3x, where do I start when I graph? 0, 0. Where does my next point go?
Up 3.
Up 3 to the right 1. Or I can also go down 3 into the left 1. Why is my line going up to the right? and
Because
not
it's-
down to right?
Because it's positive.
Because it's positive. Your direct variation is positive. So it should be going in the positive direction.
Did we already write that down?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
Pep Kinley,
Yes.
ask her if she has a driver's ed paper.
Do you have a driver's ed paper? She's shaking her head yes.
Bring it down, please.
Not a problem.
Yo, you ain't grown.
Okay. B. -1/2 x. Where do I start? And what's happening?
Go down 1 to the left 2. Wait to the right.
Down 1 into the right 2. Or up 1 into the left 2. Notice my K value is negative. So I'm going down to the right.
I forgot how to do the slope part.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the one because it's going through right.
So remember, your slope is rise over run. So this takes me either up or down. This takes me left or right. Because it's negative, it goes down. Because it's positive, it goes to the right. And the same thing with the 3. Remember, your slope should always be a fraction. So we put it over 1. Both are positive, so it goes up and to the right.
Okay, why did you say that you can also go down to the left?
Because you can go opposite of that.
So you can make
So-
it a negative?
3, 1. What do I get when I take -3 divided by -1? Positive 3 over positive 1. So I can either go up into the right or down into the left. It's the same thing. Okay. Same thing if my fraction's negative. I can put the negative with the 1 and it's negative, or I can put it with the 2 and they're still both -1/2. This one goes down into the right. This one goes up into the left. Just depending on where you put the negatives. Okay. All C.
Got it by 3.
We got to divide by 3 to get our K value first. 2/3 x up to and to the right 3. Or you can go down 2 and to the left 3.
Do you have to do that to make a line?
I always do 1 to the right and 1 to the left to make my line straighter. You don't have to.
Next one divide by negative 4.
Okay, Jackie says the next one divide by -4.
So y equals 1 over negative 4.
Y equals 1 over -4x. So either up and to the left
Or down.
or down and to the right. My line is so off of that one. Okay, this last one. First off, how do I know it's direct variation? It starts at the origin. Okay, how do I find my constant?
Count from
Count from here. So y equals, I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
and over to 5.
and to the right by 2. So +5, +2,
Or it could be negative.
and my x. Or it could have been -5, -2, which would have turned it into a positive.
This stuff doesn't care.
We're right here, aka
Oh, and at the bottom, representing a direct variation, aka constant.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.